South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa said his African National Congress ANC would seek to form a government of national unity after failing to win an outright majority in last week's general election. After hours of deliberations, Ramaphosa said the ANC's leadership had decided to try to band together with a broad group of opposition parties ranging from the far right to the hard left. The ANC won 40% of the vote, and for the first time since the advent of democracy in 1994, it needs the backing of other groups to remain in power.
We have therefore agreed that we will invite political parties to form a government of national unity as the best option to move our country forward. The modalities of the government of national unity will take into account the conditions prevailing at this moment in our country's history.
He said ANC negotiators had already had talks with several parties, including the leftist Economic Freedom Fighters, the Zulu Nationalists in Qatar Freedom Party, the Centre-Right Democratic Alliance, and the Anti-Immigrant Patriotic Alliance. It was not immediately clear if they had all agreed to join. Ramaphosa said the purpose of the Government of National Unity must be to tackle the pressing issues that South Africans want to be addressed. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, during a visit to Rio Grande do Sul, reaffirmed his commitment to rebuilding areas destroyed by floods. However, he emphasized it was important to do so by making sure the new structures were not built in places vulnerable to water.
Nós temos que dar resposta imediata a esse povo que precisa. Então nós estamos trabalhando muito e temos que vencer a burocracia porque nós temos leis, nós temos regulamentação, nós temos, sabe, nós precisamos respeitar porque senão tudo isso é desmontado. Agora, qual é o drama nosso? É que nós queremos ajudar a reconstruir com muita responsabilidade. Primeiro, a gente não pode reconstruir um pronto-socorro no lugar vulnerável em enchente. A gente não pode fazer escola em lugar vulnerável em enchente.
Lula toured the city of Cruzeiro do Sul, one of the cities most affected by the devastating floods, where he met with locals. He also said he was talking to the heads of the Bank of Brazil and other public banking institutions to speed up the processes necessary for the reconstruction efforts. In late April, Rio Grande do Sul was hit by floods triggered by heavy rains that killed 172 and displaced over 572,000 people. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said that he may impose tariffs on countries that do not curb the flow of undocumented immigrants from their territory to the United States if he wins the U.S. election in November. Border security and immigration have emerged as top issues for Americans in the run-up to the election, where Trump will face U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat, in a rematch of their 2020 White House contest.
We have tremendous economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe.
It was Trump's first campaign event since a Manhattan jury on 30th May found him guilty on all 34 counts he faced of falsifying business records to cover up a $130,000 payment. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and vowed to appeal the verdict. Trump lambasted Biden's latest effort to crack down on people crossing America's southern border illegally, an asylum ban similar to restrictions Trump tried to implement when he was president. Biden took executive action on Tuesday that instituted a broad asylum ban on migrants caught illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Workers at tech giant Samsung Electronics in South Korea staged the first ever strike at the company. Head of the National Samsung Electronics Union, Son Woo-mok, said many employees were participating in the first strike at Samsung Electronics through the use of paid leave. Management at the firm, the world's biggest producer of memory chips, has been locked in negotiations with the union over wages since January, but the two sides have failed to narrow their differences. The strike in South Korea is the first walkout by the tech giant's workers. Samsung Electronics is the flagship subsidiary of the South Korean giant Samsung Group, by far the largest of the family-controlled conglomerates that dominate business in Asia's fourth largest economy. Taiwan-based market research firm TrendForce said the strike will not cause any shipment shortages. It explained that Samsung accounts for a significant chunk of global output of the high-end chips, but the strike involves headquarters employees, not workers on the production lines. Additionally, it said it is only a one-day strike and falls during a long-planned holiday period in South Korea, meaning the company would already have adjusted anticipated staffing levels. A Boeing Starliner capsule carrying its first ever astronauts docked with the International Space Station ISS after overcoming unexpected challenges arising from thruster malfunctions and helium leaks. The spaceship, dubbed Calypso, rendezvoused with the orbital lab at 1:34 p.m. Eastern Time over the southern Indian Ocean, allowing crewmates Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams to enter a while later. Docking was delayed by more than an hour after some of the Starliner's thrusters that provide fine maneuvering initially failed to kick in, forcing the astronauts to perform a hot wire to activate them. Wilmore and Williams are the first crew to fly Starliner, which Boeing and NASA are hoping to certify for regular rides to the ISS, a role SpaceX has been fulfilling for the past 4 years. The spaceship blasted off from Florida atop a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket on Wednesday, following years of delays and safety scares, as well as 2 recently aborted launch attempts that came as astronauts were already strapped in and ready to go.
First crewed flight test.
Next up in sports, Zija marches into Indonesia Open last 8. All right, kicking off our sports segment with good news in badminton. Malaysia's professional singles player Lee Zija stormed into the quarterfinals of Indonesia Open 2024 after overcoming a strong challenge from China's Wang Ongyang. In the second round clash at the iconic Istora Senayan, the world number 7 Zija found it going tough in the opening game and lost 20-22. However, Zija came back strongly to beat the world number 19 Hongyang 21-19 and 21-16 in the next 2 games to book his quarterfinal slot. Today, Zija will meet 2023 world champion Kunlavut Wittensson of Thailand, who advanced to the last 8 after disposing of India's Priyanshu Rajawat 21-10, 21-17. Meanwhile, national women's doubles pair Pelintan and Tina also qualified for the last 8 after defeating Indonesia's Apriani Rahayu and Siti Fadia Silva Ramadanti 21-18, 21-19. They will next meet world number 1 Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan of China. Other Malaysian representatives who also qualified for the quarterfinals are men's singles player Leong Jun Hao and men's doubles pair Man Wei Chong and T Kai Woon, as well as Goh Zi Fei and Nur Izzuddin Rumsari. Right, now moving on to football. Malaysia's chances of making history by qualifying for the 3rd round of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers are fading fast as the Harimau Malaya failed to get the win they desired after drawing 1-1 with Kyrgyzstan in Bishkek. Kyrgyzstan launched the first attack of the match through defender Kairat Zigalbek Ulu in the 12th minute, but his powerful grounder was well read by Harimau Malaya goalkeeper Muhammad Azri Abdul Ghani. The home team capitalized on the momentary lapse of concentration by the Harimau Malaya backline in the 24th minute to go 1-0 up through Golzik Al-Kulov, who finished off a cross from striker Joel Kojo. However, Malaysia managed to level the score in the 38th minute when Kyrgyzstan defender Oldizon Abdurrahmanov headed in a free kick taken by naturalized midfielder Endrick Dos Santos for an own goal. The draw keeps the Harimau Malaya in 3rd place in Group D of the 2nd round of the 2026 World Cup 2027 Asian Cup qualifiers with 7 points, 3 points behind second place Kyrgyzstan, who also have a goal difference advantage going into the final match. Now, in the final group matches, Malaysia will entertain Taiwan at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Tuesday, while Kyrgyzstan will travel to Muscat to face Oman. The 2024 European Championship Euro 2024 will take place starting 14 June with the 24 European teams taking part in the 17th edition of the tournament. This will be the first major football tournament to be held solely in Germany since the 2006 World Cup, which sparked a wave of enthusiasm across Germany and is fondly remembered as the summer fairy tale. Home to the German giants Bayern Munich, the Football Munich Arena is one of the most well-known football arenas in the world and a fitting place for the opening match of Euro 2024. Apart from the opening match, Munich also hosts a round of 16 fixture and a semi-final. The arena, or Schalke, is located in Gelsenkirchen, which is the 11th biggest city in Germany. It is the home of the 7-time champions Schalke and will have a capacity of 50,000 for the tournament. The Düsseldorf Arena is one of the smaller venues for the tournament, but still boasts a capacity of over 40,000. The Leipzig Stadium, home to Bundesliga side RB Leipzig, has a capacity of 42,000 and features a state-of-the-art roof. Berlin, Cologne, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, Hamburg and Dortmund will also host matches. The Berlin Olympia Stadium will host the final on 14 July. Harry Maguire and Jack Grealish were the high-profile omissions as England manager Gareth Southgate named a European Championship squad packed with attacking talent but short of defensive experience. Jude Bellingham, who helped Real Madrid win the Champions League, Bayern Munich's Harry Kane, Phil Foden, who had a breakout season with Manchester City, and Arsenal's Bukayo Saka headline a powerful group of forwards. Injuries impacted the selections in defence, with Manchester United's Maguire, who has 63 caps, the highest profile player Southgate left out. Maguire's fellow United defender Luke Shaw did make the squad despite ongoing injury issues. Manchester City's Grealish, who was also omitted along with James Maddison, Jared Brandtwaite, James Trafford, Curtis Jones and Gerald Kwanzaa. Crystal Palace contribute to the most players to the squad: keeper Dean Henderson, defender Makuhi, midfielder Adam Wharton and forward Eberchese.
Of course, all players are going to believe they should be in, and that's why they're top players, because they have that self-belief and they have that mindset as well. But the fact is, we've got some players who have been playing extremely well all season in the league, and we just feel other players have had stronger seasons, and particularly in the last 6 months or so.
England start their Euro 2024 campaign against Serbia on 16 June. San Diego FC have signed Mexican international Herving Chunky Lozano as the first designated player in the expansion club's history. The diminutive 28-year-old midfielder will remain with Dutch club PSV Eindhoven for the next 6 months before joining San Diego on 1st January ahead of the 2025 Major League Soccer season. San Diego said they signed Lozano to a 4-year contract through the end of the 2028 MLS season with the option of 2 further years. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but a San Diego Union Tribune report said Lozano's contract is worth an estimated $7 million annually as a designated player. Lozano began his professional career with Mexican side Pachuca, where he scored 43 goals from 2014 to 2017 and won the Liga MX title in 2016. Now in June 2017, Lozano made the jump to Europe for his debut season with Dutch side PSV Eindhoven. Lozano joined Italian club Napoli in 2019, where he scored 30 goals in 155 appearances in all competitions. He was part of the Serie A title-winning side in 2022 to 2023 and in the process became the first Mexican international in history to win it. In his second stint at PSV, Lozano had 6 goals in 24 league matches and helped the club to their first Dutch title in 6 years. Now in tennis, defending champion Iga Swiatek took a big step towards a third successive French Open title by dismantling Thierry American third seed Coco Gauff 6-2, 6-4 in their semi-final to match her longest winning streak on clay. 4-time Grand Slam champion Swiatek also extended her dominance over Gauff by sealing an 11th victory in 12 meetings. Swiatek drew first blood by breaking in the opening game of the contest after a forehand error by the ultra-aggressive Gauff, and the top-seeded Pole fought off to break points in her next 2 services games before tightening her grip. Having dropped the first set following an error, Gauff wiped away tears while up 2-1 in the second after an argument with the umpire over a contentious line call, but the US Open champion recovered to break her opponent for the first time. However, Swiatek struck back immediately before holding and breaking to surge to a 4-3 lead with a powerful winner as the 20th straight victory at Roland Garros appeared in sight for the 23-year-old at her favourite hunting ground. Soaking up the applause at the sun-drenched court Philippe Chartier, Madrid and Rome champion Swiatek secured victory on serve and equalled her 18-match winning streak on the sport's slowest surface between Stuttgart and Warsaw in 2022. Alright, and that wraps up World Today. In our top story, 5 countries elected to United Nations Security Council. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and saluran Berita RTM. From river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Shohaida Arifin and thank you for watching.